This video is made for adult collectors because damn, it would have been nice if this movie got a sequel.
You know that thing when you turn the camera on to show something, it starts like working or not working? Well, these bits like to fall off quite a lot. But now that the camera's on, they will not come off of here, which I guess is good. They're not falling off, but I wanted to demonstrate them falling off, and they're just not doing the do. We'll see if they do it later, but yeah. This figure's okay.
This thing, I'm still kind of conflicted on. I like aspects of it, of course, but it's so weird. Like, looking at this at first glance, you're like, oh, cool, it's Starscream. But then you get closer and you notice he has no ankles, his face is rough, the colors are that off-white still, and his back section looks a bit messy. But there's still a lot of good things about this, and a lot of stuff that it can do. It's just a weird figure overall. This is Starscream from Transformers 1, and this was bought at CMD store. Here's the box, not sponsored. What is sponsored, though, is Try Treats. Okay, come on, that was a great trend. No, that was terrible. This video is brought to you by Try Treats. They are a snack subscription box service that delivers snacks once a month to your door from a different country once a month. We got Malaysia this time. They give you a whole bunch of snacks. You get it in this nice blue box. It's a huge, there was actually quite a few in here. My mom and my sister started eating them before I was able to shoot the video, so there's a couple of candies missing. But as per usual, my food allergies prohibit me from trying these, but my dad doesn't have any food allergies, so here he is eating some of the snacks. So you can check them out, linked in the description below. And if you use code THATTOYGUY, you can save a little bit off your first box. So thank you very much, Try Treats, for sponsoring today's video. Now back to the actual toy. He looks like Starscream from the film. I like the details, the colors, the paintwork on the legs, and the bits on the chest. They're pretty bang on, but I feel the shoulders could have just used a little bit more paint. I think they're palm, that's why they're not painted. He is that off-white color, and when looking at some of the concept art that they've slowly been releasing, you can see that off-white, and it's probably where they came from on the toys. He does have this bit that parts forms off the back and goes to part of the gun, but it feels completely unnecessary, so I just leave it on the back. It's optional parts forming, so I'm not mad about it. I just leave it there and don't think about it. The wings are neat because of how they fold up, and you can see a spot where the stripe should continue down the wing, but it's not painted. I kind of wish it was painted. But with the wings, you can orient them honestly however you want. You can have the wingtips folded out, you can do reverse wings, you can sweep them back, you can do a whole bunch of different stuff, you can pop them off. Because this toy, they did say, was designed with partialing in mind to get all the seekers done because they're all different models. And so the wings here, they're ball jointed so they can easily be swapped out. There is no ankle tilt. And I thought it was going to be a transformation thing, but I mean, you could probably fit one in here, but it's just weird. I mean, if they could have, they would have. I know that. But it's just strange that it isn't here. And like, to me anyways, it looks like there would be enough space. I should have just asked. What just fell off the desk? That was... Oh, TF1 Megatron just like took a dive off my desk. He holds his gun weird, whether it's like normally or with the extra bit. It's just a strange gun, and I leave it on his back because I use his null rays. The chest cockpit is real nice, which I like. The face. Oh boy, the face sculpt. It is strange. The lips are a weird choice, and there's like not much else going on. It's missing a lot of detail in the face itself because the rest of the head looks great. It's just the front gunmetal gray with the Kardashian lips. I don't understand. He feels fine in the hand. Nothing is loose on my copy and everything stays put together, so that's good.
So just like his wave mate Widow, there are some bits of articulation that are missing that we would know as standard nowadays, but unlike Widow, I find it's still hard to get him into like a really, really cool sort of action pose, even with those limitations. Widow kind of helps because she's a little bit bulkier and like, you know, not as nimble looking, whereas this looks really nimble, so you want to get him to look like a nimble pose, and he can't do that. He can get it, like, do the ground pound thing, which you saw earlier, which is cool, and it's probably how I'll display it, but, like, yeah, it's a bit strange. So the head can rotate full 360. He can look up that far. He can look down that far. If you detach it at the neck, he can look down that far. You do get a little bit of tilt, which is nice. I like that. Shoulders, they're on ball joints. They can do a full 360. The wings do get in the way, but the wings are on a hinge and a ball joint, so you can move them out of the way to sort of, like, get that full 360, which is nice. You do have outward motion. He does have a bicep rotation. It is below this little bit right here. So you have that. It's above the elbow because these come down and they clip into place. And if the biceps was up here, obviously that wouldn't work. So it's down there. He does have above 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist, just due to how this like transforms. I can understand that. The hips can go forward that far. They can go back about that far. You've got in and out. He can almost do a full splits. You have thigh rotation. You have a full bend at the knee, and then nothing at the ankles. And like, if they maybe put it up a little bit higher right here, they could have fit it, because I'm looking at this, right? You open this up, and it's this double, like this hinge assembly right here, the way that this works for alt mode. You'd have to cut the ankle up higher, but then you have this in the way, so you'd have to put it up higher, because then there's also this peg in here. So like, I can understand sort of why it's not here. I could have just asked Evan. I probably should have asked, but I still wish it had that. It would have been nice. I think it would have made this figure feel a lot better to me, because I'm still kind of like, yeah.
So yeah, not the most amazing robot mode. It gets the job done, but I really wish it took a little bit more time in the oven. The transformation is also a tad bit fiddlier than I would like it to be, and this figure, I don't usually flip it back and forth that often. Honestly, the figure of this wave that I've been messing with the most is still Widow. She's still on my desk.
Can you believe that this used to cost like $8 or $9 back in the day? Anyways, God, I love Bionicle. All right, transformation is fiddly and weird, but it's a very unique jet transformation in the way that the like upper body works. It kind of does a Kingdom Cyclonus, but in a very different way, which I think is very clever. So to start with, we're just gonna peg the legs together, open these panels up all the way, and then just fold the feet back for now. Maybe angle those up a little bit, but leave that like that. Then we are going to take the wings, and I'm going to rotate them now, and just leave them up here just to get them out of the way. We're going to then open the head and bring that up, and then bring this chest section out. Then you want to fold this out, fold this section out on its double hinge. Now you want to do it in a very specific way, otherwise it doesn't fold out properly. Because if you fold this out first, you can't go anywhere. So you have to like push it at the back of the hinge and then at the front, and then that brings it out. Then you bring this whole section down, fold the cockpit forward, and then bring this up, and that's the whole nose cone. That's really cool the way that that works. I like that. Then we're going to bring the wings down, unpeg these, open this section up, and get that head tucked into there. Then we are going to bring it back here and accordion the legs in. The thighs will peg in to the back of the calves. Then you bring these engine blocks up, and they will peg in. Sometimes a little easier said than done because you can't really see. There we go. Fold the feet back up. Keep this section open, because now we're going to take these flaps, bring them up to the back, and they will grip over here, holding everything into place. And they don't really grip the greatest on my copy, so that's unfortunate. Bring the wings down, just like that. Fold out the wing tips on both sides, and then these bits like to fall off. And like I said in the intro, they weren't falling off now, so we'll see how it goes. But you bring them in, and they will clip into place. You bring them in, clip in, and these tabs will now be inside. And so you fold this whole assembly down. It will grip everything into place. You want to peg the wings into the side here. Now, if you look, they're shaped to sit further down, but they don't, because these like to pop them out. So they have to sit like this, and you get this weird little gap here. It's kind of strange. Then you bring the arms. You peg the arms into the side of the flaps, if the flaps would stay in place. Please and thank you. So now you have that done. You could technically leave it like this if you wanted to, but the rest of the transformation, you bring this out and rotate this around. You don't have to take the null rays off. The instructions are like, oh, take the null rays off. You can leave them on. You bring that out. Then you take this gun, and this is a little tricky. So you want to bring this in and just sort of hold it there like that. Then take this gun and sort of hold it in here in this orientation, and then squeeze this shut. A lot of times it doesn't work for me, and I have to do it like 4 or 5 times, but that worked like second try. But there you have this little gun underneath, and I like to take the wingtips and just bend them down a bit to mimic that Bumblebee movie Seeker jet mode. And there you have him as a jet. I'm not a big fan of this aspect of the transform. I like this, but everything else back here is kind of finicky.
Not the most fun thing to do, but the alt mode looks neat. I do like how the cockpit works and all the shapes and angles that sort of grow out of Starscream. Yeah, he has underkibble, but that's not that big of a deal for me. He looks the part. Everything holds together very well. Nothing wants to like fall off, even though sometimes it does fall off, but now that the camera's on, those bits don't want to fall off. There isn't much new in the way of detail or paint exposed here, except for maybe in the cockpit section, but I do like how it just kind of follows the Bumblebee movie approach to get this jet mode. It's just a bit more flat. It's an alright figure. It's not horrible, but it's not amazing. amazing. If you're like me and you want to complete the TF1 cast, then this is a must get, but like I'd recommend waiting for a sale maybe. If you can get it for 15-20% off, I would then be like, yeah, cool, that'd be great. But for the full price with the stuff that's missing on here, I don't think it's fully worth it. But that's my look at Transformers 1's Deluxe Class Starscream. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.